that one. We do have timelines, and it depends on the overall risk profile as to how long we'll let something endure. If it relates to credit card compliance at all, the exception management process is out the window. It's all hands on deck, fix it immediately. If it's a little bit lower risk than that, then we can negotiate. But anything related to credit card compliance or any other legal requirements are non-negotiables, and it's a matter of making the fix as quickly as possible while still ensuring that you're not doing harm. In other words, you plug this hole, but you rush out the fix that you add 3 more. So, and then the second part of your question had to do with, is there a low-risk project where you would accept the risk indefinitely?
Yeah, is there vulnerabilities that you would permanently accept the risk, and if so, how do you decide if it's okay to accept the risk?
Right. So if it were our lowest classification of data next to public, so not public data, but internal use data, and if the application were internally facing and slated for retirement, that would be a case where we'd say, okay, you're gonna get rid of this app in 6 months. Go in peace. go get rid of it. Yeah, question? So the question is, who's responsible for accepting the risk? And this Security Exception Review Board is empowered to accept certain level of risk, and if the board feels uncomfortable saying, okay, then we have a statement of non-compliance, which gets routed to several executives. And almost always, we write that in language that executives can clearly understand. Almost always, when we start circulating that document, we get a lot more focus on the problem, and they decide not to accept the risk. They throw resources at the problem, and they fix it. So that's been a very effective technique for us. Yeah, question? Yeah.
The program is doing really good. But do you have your next steps for what are you going to do next?
Yeah. This is a good question. We won an award. We're doing all right. What can we do better? And I think one of the ways we can get better is using a framework like OpenSAM. So we've started using a scorecard for OpenSAM to figure out where are our weakest areas and where can we improve. So we're going to track that on an annual basis and figure out, are we tending to score, I think 3 is the good number in OpenSAM. Are we tending to get 3s, or is it more like 2s? And so anything with a 2 or a 2+ rating, we're going to put a lot more focus on those areas. So I think that's our overall focus for improvement, is to continue scoring according to a particular framework, and then hopefully gathering enough data over time to keep ourselves on track. That's a good question. Yeah, other ones? Yeah.
Is it based on your own know-how, or is it based on some existing methodologies?
So the question is, how does the tool that we have score the risk level? And there are a few questions that apply to every project. They're attributes like, who's the project manager, what organization is this in, that sort of thing. There's no risk weight associated with that so far. But anything to do with the data classification certainly impacts the risk. If there are compliance implications with payment card industry or with SOX or HIPAA, that would increase the risk. If it's externally facing. There are probably 10 different, we ask a question about, have all the developers taken secure development practices training? So that's another risk weighting. And having about 1/4 of the projects, that seems to be about the maximum we can endure. So I don't think we can change our risk rating. We might shade the results if we think the tool is wrong, or if we think that the person who filled out the form didn't do it correctly, but generally we'll accept what comes out of the tool. Yeah, question? So the question, how big is the set of questions? And it varies depending on engagement type, anywhere from 10 to about 30 questions. Not all of those are risk weighted though. Yeah, question? You had a lot of documentation. Right.
How do you make sure that they actually follow the documentation and they don't skip it?
So the question is, for the project teams that we point to self-help, how do we make sure that they do what they need to do? And as I mentioned, we're not the compliance organization, but we do have a sister organization that's responsible for compliance, and they have to do what is called control self-assessments. So they look at the IT controls, including participation in our program. They collect evidence based on that. For example, source code scans, our risk modeler. Did they fill out a risk model? Of course, in this case, yes, they would have. So I think we could certainly spend more time chasing down people who don't work with us. But so far, it's been very effective to spend the most time with people who are receptive to our message. We develop a good reputation with those people, and then they tell their friends. So we don't spend as much time chasing the stragglers. We spend more time cultivating good relationships with the people who understand the value of what we do. And I think that's been another key to our success. And I think that's time. All right, thanks everybody. I'll be around after if you have questions. And who gets the shirt? I couldn't quite see. Do you get the shirt? Okay.